Matthew 26, 31 to 46. We will chat briefly about the power of the cross today, but we will take it moments before the actual cross moment. So we will take it a couple of hours or a day or so before the actual crucifixion happened. And that's why we'll read Matthew 26 from 31 to verse 46. Matthew 26, 31 to 46. On the way, Jesus told them, "Tonight all of you will desert me, for the scriptures say, God will strike the shepherd and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there." Peter declared, "Even if everyone else deserts you, I will never desert you." Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, Peter, this very night, before the rooster crows, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." "No," Peter insisted. "Even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you." And all the other disciples vowed the same. Then Jesus went with them to the olive grove called Gethsemane, and he said, "Sit here while I'll go over there to pray." He took Peter and Zebedee's 2 sons, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." He went on a little further and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Then he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. He said to Peter, "Couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." Then Jesus left them a second time and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done." When he returned to them again, he found them sleeping, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. So he went to pray a 3rd time, saying the same things again. Then he came to the disciples and said, "Go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. But look, the time has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Up, let's be going. Look, my betrayer is here." So Jesus and his disciples went up the Mount of Olives. And when you read the same account in Luke, it says, Luke 22, it says, Jesus left the upper room and went as usual to the Mount of Olives. So clearly this is a place that Jesus frequented. It's a place that he went to on a regular basis. So as soon as they left after the Last Supper, they went to the Mount of Olives. For him, it was a place of prayer. It was a place where he connected to God at. It's a place that he often retreated to alone just to pray, including this very night. But on this night, he took all 12 of them to say, "Let's go to our usual place. And obviously, when they get there, they would spend a lot of time in prayer. When you read Matthew chapter 22, 24, and 25, you will realize that Jesus stood on the same mountain to teach. So this Mount of Olives was not just a place of prayer for him, it was a place of teaching. So he went there to teach when you read chapter 24 and 25 of Matthew. At the same time, the same Mount of Olives became a place of his greatest anguish. It's at this very mountain where he says, "My soul is crushed to the point of death." It's at the very same mountain where he was abandoned by his closest friends. It's on this very same mountain where one of his closest friends, particularly Judas Iscariot, betrayed him. I mean, it was at this very same mountain where 4 days earlier they had said to him, "You are the Christ, the Messiah, the Son of the living God." It was at the very same place. And as I said, beloveds, it's at the very same place where he's abandoned and betrayed. It's a place he went to usually. You know, we will come back to this point a bit later. But I mean, when Jesus speaks to his disciples, he says, "If you can't carry your cross and follow me, you are not worthy to be my disciple." We'll come back to that story and connect it to this point. But safe to say, what the cross has meant for us is that we have access to God. What the cross meant for us is that it's in the presence of God where we find peace, where we find freedom. It's in the presence of God where we find those who believe just like us. It's in the presence of God where we make families, where we make friends, where we meet to fellowship. It's in the very presence of God where it could be a place of our greatest anguish. It's in the very same presence of God where it could be a place of our abandonment and betrayal. It's in the very same community where we could be heard. It's in the very same community where we could live our highest highs and our lowest lows. It's in the very same community where we can be disappointed, hurt, where we can be ecstatic. Same community. But I like how Jesus prays when he's at the very same place. Not your will, but yours. You know, so, and we'll come back to this so that we can close the loop quite nicely. Let's go back to where we read. So, as they leave and they go to the Mount of Olives, Jesus makes it a point. He tells them. I mean, he doesn't ask them. They decided they needed to respond, but it's not like Jesus sought any response from them whatsoever. He was telling them what was going to happen. You know, he was not really seeking their opinion that on this very night you are going to desert me. He stated it as a fact. You know, and they decided maybe it's at that point where they prove he's wrong and they are right. You know, they decided to tell him that, no, Jesus, you are actually wrong. We are going nowhere. And in that moment, Jesus tells them what they were going to do in the next couple of hours. Then he says nothing else about everything else that will happen. And this is how he then concludes that very same statement. God will strike the shepherd and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there. Like, you guys are going to abandon me in the next couple of hours. But that's not how your story will end. When I return, I'm going to lead the very same you to Galilee. I mean, when we talk about the resurrection, maybe on Sunday, you will get to see the significance of that very moment when he now returns and he leads them to Galilee. At the cross, that's where you have to believe that this is not how your story will end. I always say, in the kingdom, one of the biggest sources of encouragement and joy in the kingdom is that our better days are always ahead. But I mean, Jesus tells them that you guys are going to turn on me. You are going to go back on your word. You are going to run away. And actually, he gets personal with Peter. Anyway, Peter liked getting personal with Christ. So Christ got personal with him. He says, well, now actually I can tell you in detail how it's going to happen with you. The other 11, the other 10 at least, because the other one was already ready to betray him. He says, these ones, they don't like being personal. Let's treat them as a group. When I'm going to get personal with you, I always pray that may God get personal with you. May God get very personal with you. It's at the cross where we need to have our own personal encounters with God. The power of the cross is such that you have a personal encounter with God, that God gets personal with you. Because when God has gotten personal with you, it matters not what others do or say to you. The only reason you are so invested in what others think or say about you is because you have neglected your personal experience and your personal encounters with God. You let us dictate to you how to believe. You let us dictate to you what to do. You let us dictate to you how to serve. But if you had a personal encounter at the cross, you have a personal encounter with God. And it's God who then decides how you serve. It's God who then decides what you do. To understand that our opinions do not matter. You're not going to go out here running, say we've had you as if we had called you. Because when Jesus was going to the cross, when the rest of them were moving away from him, he kept straight to the prize. He looked at the prize. That this cross is mine. And I have to carry it. It doesn't matter what others say. They make false promises to me. They say, I'm going to die with you. 3 hours later, they're saying, I've never even met that guy. Me. Yeah, but actually, it's your accent. It's your accent. It's your accent. You are saying against. It's you. No. It's your accent. And he says, me. I have never met that guy. But even if because that's what they said. But they said, you sound just like them. And Peter, who 3 hours earlier said, even if everybody else was to desert you, where you die, I will die. I'm willing to pay the ultimate price. And you would have thought that when Christ returned, when Christ rose from the dead, he would have looked for new friends just like you. Because you look for new friends, Musa. You would have expected Jesus to go looking for new friends because he says, my old friends betrayed me. But he tells them before they actually do it, go and do it. But when I return, I will be leading you to Galilee. We are going to start an explosion that's going to flow from here to the rest of the world. If it was you, yes, I'm looking for new friends. You. I like how he says it to Peter. How he says it to Peter in another account, the very same thing. He says to Peter, the devil has asked for you to sift you as wheat. But be encouraged because I have prayed for you. And when you come back, strengthen your brothers. You would have said, well, which brothers? Which one? Not these ones. Not these ones. It's at the cross where we lose a sense of self. It's at the cross where we become selfless. Not selfless in word, selfless in deed. I mean, the man, how much more selfless can he be? He chooses to die a death of a criminal and a pauper. The most despised form of dying. He agrees to die that way. And at the same time, he is betrayed by those closest to him. And he didn't just concern himself with the ones closest to him. Even the ones who were crucifying him. He says, Father, forgive them. They do not know what they are doing. How much more selfless can you be? We are too self-centered. It's like we've never met Jesus. We are so self-centered. It's like we've never been to the cross. It's all about us. It's all about me. They did it to me. I will show them who I am. Whether that thing represents Christ or not, but it represents me, they will know me. Because at the cross we did not lose self. But the man who carried and hung on the cross lost himself completely. He who did not sin was made sin. But when they are upset with you because, what do they say? You triggered them. They are upset with you because you ill-treated them. They are upset with you because you did it to them. But he who did not know sin was made sin. And his response was revolutionary. His response is meant to be a response of those who've been to the cross. And I mean, he says to Peter before the rooster cries, you would have said, you do not know me 3 times already. You know, it sometimes does not look like what you think it should look like, especially in the future. That you look at your life now and you try to draw your trajectory or your map, and it does not look the way you want it to look because of where you are. Because I mean, generally that's how we gauge where we're gonna go, how far we're gonna go with where we are. Okay, let me make an example, a usual everyday example. You are here, you don't have a job, right here. It doesn't look like you'll ever have a house or a car. You understand what I'm saying? Because of where you are, it doesn't look like the way you want it to look. Because of where you are. You would want a picture that you can have evidence for. To say, that's the picture I want. But this is the evidence. I mean, it's easy to say, I believe God for a house when you are credit worthy. Yeah. When your credit score is high. It's easy to say, I believe God for a car. Because you can go to any financial institution and they will finance you. And you go buy a house and buy a car. But if you've got none of that, if you are like Peter, who just denied Christ 3 times, you can't see Acts chapter 2. Because how look now has no resemblance on how he's going to look in the future. Because if you are Peter and you are here and they tell you straight on your face that when you are going to say 3 times you do not know me, you can't see Acts chapter 2. I mean, just imagine the growth of that church. Those guys, the Bible says they were 70. One sermon, there were 3,070. One sermon. I do not think Peter could see that moment. On this very night. But Jesus looked at them. As much as he knew they were going to betray him, he could see Acts chapter 2. He says, I'm going to go far with these fools. It's fine. I mean, like we are going to go far with these people. They may be caught up in this little moment, because we like being caught up in little moments. Right? We like focusing on little moments. I mean, just think about it if you were Jesus. Né? Wouldn't it have been so powerful in the moment if after they hung you to the cross, you just came down like nothing happened? I mean, like you just descended like they didn't nail you to the thing. Huh? And all the blood that had flown out of you just flown back into you. I mean, can you see that picture? I mean, it could have happened. If Jesus was more concerned with being glorified in the moment, that's what he would have done. Even a song says that he could have called 10,000 angels to set him free, but he did not. And guys who were not so significant in the kingdom, Abo Gehazi, had to see multitudes, an army with chariots and charioteers around them. Say, look, those who are on our side are more than those who are against us. That's what Gehazi and Elisha saw. But Jesus, the Son of God, could have created something even much bigger, much better in that moment. But because he's not focusing on moments, he's focusing on eternity. What is the eternal value of my behavior now? How I behave and carry myself now, what is the meaning of all this to eternity? I mean, I would rather take the glory here. Yeah. I would rather take it here. I don't want to be going through Gethsemane and praying, hey, Father, the cup pass, the cup stay. Hey, what if it's not your will? What if it's your will? I don't want that. I want to take the glory here. Because that's not what I prefer. I'm too concerned about self. I don't want that prayer. I mean, I want to skip all that. Come down through a vision, make an appearance. And again, like it happened in Acts chapter 1, verse 8 to 12, go back, stand on the Mount of Olives, and then go back up to heaven. And I wouldn't have wanted to do that in front of 12 people. I mean, who carries out such an act? Just imagine in front of 12 people. I would have collected every single man on the planet to come and see me wave as I get swallowed by the clouds. I would have wanted everyone to see what I would have done. There's no way I'm doing that in front of 12 people. No. Because I am too focused on the moment. I have no concern for eternity. It's like I've never met the man who hung on the cross. A despised contraption. You know, the cross was such a despised thing that if you hung on that thing, the whole world knew. You were the bottomest of the bottom. You were like, really? You were, yeah. Below you, there was nothing. You were the ultimate bottom. Nothing could fall that low. But because the man was focused on eternity, He could see in 2025 and saw you and thought, if I waste my time here and go call the whole world to come and witness this thing, I may waste a bit of time and those sinners are going to continue dying, because he was selfless. The cross takes away selfishness. Hey, guys. Imagine if your prayer every day was, Father, your will and not mine. And you're actually honest like he was. If it was according to me, this is not my preference. I actually wouldn't like this thing. It's too cold. And I am not waking up at 5:30 to pray. But God, not my will, your will. Hey, let me wake up, brush my teeth, and try to attend this prayer. We are too concerned about our own comfort, about our own luxuries, about our own conveniences. I pray to the God of heaven that the gospel inconveniences you. May the gospel go into your life and inconvenience you. May the knowledge of the man who hung on the cross cause you discomfort. May you stop focusing on your comforts like the disciples did. The Bible says they could not keep their eyes open. They kept sleeping. The poor man kept coming. Well, guys, couldn't you just sit with me for a while, just an hour? As soon as he left, yeah. Because their focus was their comfort. They went back to sleep as soon as he left. Hey, guys, I think I should have prepared a sermon on sleep here. Just sleep. Let's just talk about sleep. But you know, without preparing a sermon on sleep, there's nothing that's an enemy of progress like sleep. You know, that much I can tell you. Sleep. You can sleep the rest of your life away. And later on, when you asked what you were doing, you said, I was sleeping. I slept. But you know, almost when you want to sleep, you never said, I'm going to sleep the whole day. Just like Proverbs says it. 5 minutes. A little slumber here. A little slumber there. And poverty will attack you like a bandit. That's what the Bible says. When it talks about sleep. So it's not just Solomon who wrote about sleep in Proverbs. Jesus, in his very agonizing moment, he talks about sleep. And actually the last statement is like he curses them. Go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. Yeah, I tried. I mean, he came 3 times. He came back 3 times. If it was an alarm, the alarm went off. It was snoozed again. Even the alarm said to you, go ahead. I can't help you. Go ahead and sleep. Saints, we are not talking about sleep, right? But don't sleep your life away. He says the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. And my betrayer is here. I know in this case he spoke about Judas, because Judas was already on his way to come and betray him. But when I read it again after talking about this sleep thing, and he says, and my betrayer is here, I thought, oh, so when you sleep you betray Jesus. Then I don't think directly he meant it. But I think that could be true as well. That if you spend most of your time resting, be careful, probably he still refers to you when he says, my betrayer is here. Should have just added one word, sleeping. My betrayer is here, sleeping. But I just corrected myself, saints. But I wouldn't have minded if it said that. But that's not what it says. Firstly, if you have an encounter with the cross, this is not how your story will end. That's how powerful the cross is. This is not how your story will end. It will end much better. I mean, when Jesus comes back from the dead and he encounters Peter. I mean, the last time Jesus saw Peter, it was from a distance, right? Like it was from a distance. I mean, he saw him in the spirit first, but later on he saw him physically, saying, "I have never seen this guy." And when he returns, he meets the same man. Same man. And like he taught us in 1 Corinthians, he did not keep the record of that wrong. He doesn't even refer to it. He doesn't say, "Yeah, you thought I was gone. I'm here. Yeah, tell me, what were you doing there?" You were even scared of a little girl who came and said, "I hear with your accent." What were you doing? I'm back here now. And actually now, because I come from the dead, I'm more powerful. Huh? What were you doing? That's what you would have done. He just asked him one question 3 times. "Simon Peter, son of Bar-Jonah, do you love me?" And he continues the instruction from what he said, that when you are done, strengthen your brothers. He uses similar words with him now. Like it's like he forgot the other events. He only remembers the instruction he gave him before. And it's like he repeats it. He says, "Simon, son of Bar-Jonah, do you love me? Feed my sheep." It's like, but so you don't remember? I mean, I think if you are Peter, you are thinking, but don't you remember what happened about 3 days ago or 4 days ago? I can't remember how close to it was. I guess that's what everybody says, guys. When you've done something wrong, there's nothing as bad as silent treatment. Yeah. Like when no mistake is known, but no one is talking about it. If you think I'm lying, ask husbands. Find a husband next to you and ask him, "Hey, how does it feel like when you know you've done something big and you walk in and they say, 'Baby, are you hungry? Okay, let me bring you your food.' And you think, 'Huh? Oh, what? Never. There's no way. Should I even eat?" But husbands, you must know when it happens, it's wives who've been to this church and they are just acting like they are big brother Jesus. They are not scaring you. No. They are just acting like they are big brother Jesus. Yeah. So don't be too worried. Don't run away. Don't call your uncles or, "Hey, malume. Nam sadio. Even on chulet." Don't do that. But I mean, it's like Jesus ignores everything else that Peter had done. And he gives him a new instruction. Not really a new instruction, he had said it before. "Take care of my sheep." And as if he was undoing every single time where Peter said, "I did not know you," he also says it 3 times. Like it's a sign, Peter. "I forgot you denied me 3 times. Every time you said, yes, I love you, you undid everything you had done. There's a person who's been to the cross. And just by the way, don't betray the mission of the kingdom by excessive levels of sleep and rest. Let's stop here. Let's read. We'll continue with the last part tomorrow. I had said Sunday, right? Not Sunday. Tomorrow. Sunday is the bishop of the CJC preaching, so it's not me. Luke 9, 23 to 25. He said to them, let's just read verse 23. He said to them, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. He must deny himself and take his cross daily and follow me. That daily is not a mistake. That daily. It's literal. That daily. That every day you wake up, you make a decision that I'm going to follow Jesus. I'm not going to follow my own whims, my own wishes, my own desires. I am going to follow Jesus. It's a decision we have to take every single morning. You know, sometimes we use this colloquially in conversations as we speak. When somebody tells you they have a problem and maybe it has been going on for long, but hey, it's your cross, you must carry it. But this is not what Jesus meant here. He meant something much deeper. They did not even realize he's prophesying how he was going to die. Because his use of the word cross here was not just because, no. He knew exactly what he meant. Even though it was way before his death. If anyone is to follow me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Actually, on the verses further down, he says, but you can't do that unless you've counted the costs. Unless you have counted the costs. Because following Jesus is costly. Following the man who hung on the cross is costly. Because he's no ordinary guy. He expects a lot from you. And every time you complain that it can't be done, he says, I did it. I am not even asking you to do half the things I did. It's possible. It's costly, but it's possible. He actually says, before you follow me, you must count the costs. Because he says it's only a fool who's going to start anything without counting the costs. And count the cost literally. What is it that I am going to lose if I follow Jesus? One, I am going to lose self. Self, who's now the most important thing, is going to be the least important thing. Am I willing to do that? Am I willing to take the back seat in my own life and let somebody else drive? In my own life, am I willing to say, Jesus, take the wheel? Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you send me, I will go. But there's a commitment for a person who has taken their own cross. Of course, it speaks of challenges, but it's not just about challenges. It's like that. It's like that Marvin Sapp song, "Deeper." I love that song. You guys must learn it. It says there's a call, and that call is resounding in my ear, and it's calling me deeper. It's calling me deeper. He says, this can't be it. God is much bigger than this. I can't just come in here halfway in. I can't just come in here 1 foot in. I can't just come in here sometimes not. He says, this is the call that's resounding in my ear. It's calling me deeper. It's calling me deeper. Like I said, I pray that we are not a Christian who's always about themselves. That we are not so self-preservative that you consider us nothing else. That we are so committed to our own luxuries. We are so committed to our own comforts. We are so committed to our own conveniences. May the cross of Christ inconvenience you. May it make you uncomfortable in your own space. But when you think about the work that lies ahead of us, you stand up and you do what you never thought you would do. You take up your cross and you follow Christ. We have a mandate. Our mandate is to go out there and tell people that on this day 2,000 years ago, a man hung on the cross who had done nothing. And all that we can do is to return the favor. We carry our crosses and we follow him. And when we carry our crosses, we lose self. We focus on the mission ahead.